Minister, what is the medical rationale for continuing to have a mask mandate and for continuing to have a vaccine mandate?
Okay, so these mandates are always assessed and reassessed. The evidence that masks reduce transmission is unequivocal and quite clear. It's 60 to 80% reductions of chances of transmission. So while we are always looking at the evidence and assessing it, the masks continue to offer tremendous protection for everyone.
But Ontario has just lifted its mask mandate even for hospitals. Like, if they're not needed in hospitals, if the risk assessment is they're not needed, how do you still explain why in Canada they're required on planes and trains?
This is not the first time that you see different jurisdictions make different decisions based on the same science that we're all seeing. So I can't comment on behalf of the Ontario government, but I can tell you that the evidence we see is that masks continue to reduce odds of transmission. So they are an important layer of protection. It's not 100% certain, but it's a layer of protection that offers protections to passengers.
And what about the vaccine mandate? Is it fair, given that everywhere else has lifted their domestic vaccine mandate in Canada, that your government's policies are banning families from visiting families across the country if they're not vaccinated because they can't get on a plane or a train?
Yeah, the same applies to vaccine mandate, just like I said about masks. These measures are always getting assessed and reassessed, and we are currently reassessing
But what is the justification for it? Because you're seeing all these delays in the airport. The airports say that this is part of the delay that's adding to the bottleneck, and the government seems to be the exception in saying these are still needed when every other jurisdiction in Canada says they're not. So what is the justification for it?
Well, I mean, other jurisdictions in Canada still have vaccine mandate. In BC,
Where?
they have vaccine mandate, I think, for the health sector. And
But not
in
for
other,
the average person.
those people who work in the health sector.
Right, but not
So,
for the average person in a restaurant or traveling.
Exactly. I don't want to
But
argue
what's the
the specifics
justification?
with you, but you said there are no mandates across the country. I'm saying there are mandates across the country. There are mandates across the world for travelers, for other. Having said that, we are assessing the evidence that we have right now. We're always erring on the side of public safety. We committed to Canadians that we want to do everything we can to protect their health and safety. And we're seeing people and governments and jurisdictions try to grapple with making the right decisions and the right balancing act with balancing public health and economic fluidity. That's what we're doing. We've lifted measures.
But
We've
what
had
is the
testing.
technical justification then for the vaccine mandate?
Well, again, that's being assessed, but the science about vaccination protecting lives and preventing death is clear. The science is unequivocal. Vaccines protect lives, they save lives. That is part and parcel of our considerations for public health measures. Now,
But you don't have a 3-shot mandate. You have a 2-shot mandate that does not actually prevent the spread of COVID with Omicron. So it's not.
you're like, as if you are with us in the room when we're having these discussions. A lot of these things are being considered. A lot of these aspects of our policies are always re-examined. I could tell you that these examinations and re-examinations are taking place on a daily basis, and when we feel it's the right time to make and adjust our measures, we will do so.
And what about the
Minister,
COVID act?
Minister, there was a joint statement just out about saying, like, do you recognize that there is more to do? What do you say to Canadians that read that and say, well, nothing new is announced, no new measures, so what do you say to
I mean,
that?
I would say that there's new measures announcing that 865 people have been hired just recently by CATSA. That's a tremendous achievement within weeks. I would say lifting the requirement for random testing for international connecting travelers, that's a new step. I would say adding more resources to CBSA is a new achievement that has happened just the last couple of weeks. Having said that, is there more to be done? Yes, and that's why we have these working groups where airports, airlines, and others are working together. We in government are assessing and reassessing. We're taking advice from our stakeholders, and as I said, there will be new measures that will be announced soon.
When?
Soon.